Four winners, the craziest voting sequence ever, the first contest in a dictatorship, and a Portuguese awakening. Let's talk about Eurovision 1969. Welcome to Eurovision Histories, the series in which I watch old editions of Eurovision so you don't have to. Apart from the craziest voting sequence and especially result in the contest's history,
Yo voy a pedir por favor a Mr. Brown que sea él quien me diga exactamente los vencedores de este año.
the 14th Eurovision Song Contest was a remarkable edition for several reasons. Held at the Teatro Real in Madrid, it was the first contest held in a dictatorship, unfortunately not the last. The artwork was designed by world-famous surrealist Salvador Dalí. The contest was hosted by Laurita Valenzuela, who greeted all of the participating countries.
Good afternoon, dobar večer, dias muera Eve.
And Eastern European countries.
Dobre večer, dobri večer, bună seara.
As well as Chile, Puerto Rico, and Brazil. RTVE had to rent cameras from Germany to be able to broadcast in color. Austria withdrew, some sources suggest because they did not want to participate in a contest held in a dictatorship. There were thus only 16 participating countries. Wales had tried to join but was rejected for not being a sovereign country. Meanwhile, in France, a song was promoted as Liechtenstein's entry to the 1969 contest, but that turned out to be satire. Eurovision had certainly changed little by little, and it was very visible in this edition. Slow ballads were in retreat, and most entries were rather up-tempo and bouncy. The singers had handheld microphones, which allowed them to move to the music more. Some might call it dancing, which technically was still not allowed. A Eurovision-y stylistic device that was on full display in this edition was the inclusion of a word generally understood in most languages in the song's chorus, like Troubadour, Judy, Jennifer Jennings, Prima Ballerina, or Maman. The other right-wing dictatorship represented at the contest, apart from host Spain, was Portugal. They sent the remarkable Desfolhada portuguesa by Simone de Oliveira. The song talks about the sunburnt and wind-kissed Portugal full of love and patriotism and serenades the blonde wheat fields, the pine trees, the mountain ranges, and the sea. It also includes some cleverly hidden criticism of Portugal's state of affairs, however, comparing it to an empty nutshell and a lost legend. The title translates roughly to Portuguese defoliage, which in itself can be seen as a clear criticism of Portugal at the time. The song might have slipped through as dictator Salazar had had a brain hemorrhage and was replaced, and so the regime probably had more important things to worry about than their Eurovision entry. The song became somewhat of a second national anthem, and Simone de Oliveira was greeted by big crowds on her return from Madrid, despite only coming 15th on the night. Yugoslavia's Ivan thought it necessary to include the phrase "good morning" in the languages of all participating countries.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Bonjour.
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 Good morning.
It probably was a bit overdone, and Yugoslavia only came 13th. Louis Neef returned for Belgium and was kind enough to catch flies while performing.
De bomen in de zon, zal bij. En toen kwam jij.
And now I've seen everything. Luxembourg was represented by Romuald, who had come third for Monaco in 1964. His catchy but slightly simple Catherine,
Catherine, Catherine, au jardin d'enfants. Catherine, Catherine, nous avions 10 ans.
did not convince many jurors and came 11th. Monaco, in turn, was represented by 12-year-old Jean-Jaques, who sang a song about a topic fitting for his age. I think. His Maman.
Maman, maman.
Apparently.
Je fais un rêve merveilleux. Maman, maman.
Aw. He tells her that he would rather stay a child than grow up. However, I also see some anti-war undertones in the song as he sings about his rifle and helmet. But what do I know? Those viewers who still watch the show in black and white might have asked themselves why he was wearing a priest's outfit. Mamans were apparently enchanted and Monaco came sixth. He was actually the first participant to be born after the first Eurovision had taken place in 1956. Switzerland sent Paola, who became a very famous television presenter in German-speaking countries. Her Bonjour, Bonjour, performed in German despite the French title, was slightly annoying, and I'm a bit surprised that it managed to come fifth.
Bonjour, bonjour, es ist schön, dich mal wieder zu sehen. Bonjour, bonjour, nur bei dir scheint die Sonne so schön.
Especially because it was a bit off-key in parts. And now I've also heard everything. Germany repeated its recipe for success, at least for German standards, by inviting a Scandinavian singer to sing a bouncy song for them.
Prima ballerina, prima ballerina, prima ballerina, die noch nie hast du gelacht.
Siw Malmkvist had represented her native Sweden in 1960 and became the first singer to represent two countries in two different languages. Prima Ballerina did not receive a single point from Sweden, but managed to come shared ninth, funnily enough, with Tommy Körberg from Sweden.
Judy, min vän, när går vår korsväg, kanske ses vi igen. Då får vi se vad livet har gjort med oss, Judy, min vän.
He serenaded his materialistic friend Judy, who likes a car and a TV, while he prefers freedom, emotionality, and nature. This song was probably the one most in keeping with the upheaval of the student protests of 1968. However, in true Eurovision fashion, it also really isn't. Kristie Sparboe was back for Norway for a third time, continuing her unsuccessful attempts, coming last with a single point. This got the grand total of her 3 participations to 4 points.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry.
She is arguably the most unsuccessful participant ever. Finland's Jacques and Laura looked a bit like they were trying to get you to join their cult, and were probably remembered more for Jacques' hat than for the song. They got married shortly after the contest. France was represented by the only traditional ballad performed by Frida Boccara.
La forme d'une orange, il donnera au ciel son soleil.
Un jour, un enfant was written by her longtime musical partner Eddie Marnet, who would also write the first French songs for Céline Dion. The UK exacerbated the trend to have understandable words in the chorus. Lulu had had a few international hits before stepping on the Eurovision stage. Boom Bang Bang had won the British national final, in which Lulu presented 6 songs, among them I Can't Go On, written by none other than Elton John. Why, Britain? Why?
Game over.
In true Sandy Shaw fashion, Lulu hated her Eurovision song. Spain was represented by Salomé on home ground, whose song had practically the same structure as La La La, slow verses and a rousing chorus. She performed the song full of energy and verve, despite the fact that her dress, made from porcelain beads, weighed over 14 kilos. My favorite song of this edition is the Troubadour, representing the Netherlands, a folk ballad with medieval influences about the titular troubadour and his effects on his audience. Lenny Kuhr infused the song with a lot of drama and passion, which makes the performance spellbinding to me. She was quite famous in France already due to her chansonesque repertoire. This influenced the voting quite a bit. The interval looked like that video your mom records after her holiday in Spain from the plane with a 12-year-old smartphone. It's probably art. During the voting, Miss Valenzuela was visibly happy every single time a connection with a country worked.
Hello, Yugoslavia.
Good evening, Madrid. Zagreb calling.
Good
Here are the
evening.
results of the Yugoslav jury.
At this point, she didn't know yet what was waiting for her. First, the UK took the lead. Then France overtook both Spain and the UK. Sweden then gave 5 points to the UK, putting them back in the lead again.
Royaume-Uni, 5 votes.
5 votos para Maman.
5 votes. United.
Switzerland gave 4 points to the Netherlands, putting them in contention as well. After Germany's votes, the competition had turned into a 4-horse race.
Suiza.
France, 1 vote.
Y un punto para Francia.
France, 1 vote.
Continúa el empate pues a 16 puntos entre Francia y el Reino Unido.
Finland.
Then France gave the Netherlands 6 points, putting them in the lead with 18 points.
Empatados con este país que vota en estos momentos,
Les
precisamente.
Pays-Bas, 6 voix.
Pays-Bas,
Six.
6 votes. Netherlands,
Atención.
6 points.
6 puntos para Holanda.
Allemagne, 1 voix.
Before the last jury from Finland voted, 3 songs were tied for first place with 18 points. Spain, France and the Netherlands, closely followed by the United Kingdom. Then this happened.
Hello, Madrid. Helsinki calling.
Desde
Good evening.
Helsinki.
May I have your votes, please?
Here are the results of the Finnish jury.
Thank you.
Ireland, 3 votes.
Ireland, 3 votes. Irlande, 3 votes.
Italy, 1 vote.
Italy,
Italia,
1 vote.
un punto.
Italy, 1 vote.
United Kingdom, 1 vote.
Un punto
United Kingdom, 1 vote.
al Reino Unido. Maman.
Royaume-Uni, 1 vote.
Sweden,
empates.
3 votes.
Sweden, 3 votes.
Switzerland, 2 votes.
A Suiza,
Switzerland,
2 puntos.
2 votes. La Suisse, 2 votes.
And that completes the voting of the Finnish jury.
Señoras y
Good
señores,
morning,
el
Madrid.
Teatro Real de Madrid.
There were thus 4 songs with 18 points, and Miss Valenzuela was visibly confused as to what would happen next and turned to Mr. Brown from the EBU to ask who the actual winner was.
Yo voy a pedir por favor a Mr. Brown que sea él quien me diga exactamente los vencedores de este año.
No ha pasado nunca.
Il y a en effet 4 gagnants cette année.
El representante de la Unión Europea de Radiodifusión dice que hay 4 canciones triunfadoras, 4 países.
4 ganadores ex aequo.
As there was no tiebreaker rule in place, 4 countries had won the contest. Rumor has it that Miss Valenzuela actually had asked Mr. Brown during rehearsals what would happen in case of a tie, and he had replied, "This never happened and will never happen." It seems quite reckless not to have a tiebreaker rule, considering that Spain had won the previous year by a single point. Thus 25% of all participants had won the contest, and Miss Valenzuela also asked Mr. Brown whom she should give the prize to.
Lo ha de decidir la Unión Europea de Radiodifusión.
Qu'est-ce que je fais avec le prix? Je donne.
Non, vous devez les lire l'un après l'autre parce qu'il y a 4 gagnants.
4 ganadores.
Répétez. Répétez, s'il vous plaît.
Le hace repetir al representante de la UER.
donner les 4 parce qu'il y a 4 gagnants. l'un après
Hay
l'autre.
4 ganadores, luego todos los autores de estas 4 canciones deberán...
All were presented with a medal. As there weren't enough for all songwriters, only the singers received one. All 4 also got to sing their song again. What added insult to injury was that all 4 countries had actually won the contest before. This result precipitated Eurovision into its worst crisis ever, and calls for a reform of the voting system grew louder. When this did not happen for the 1970 edition, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Austria and Portugal all decided to boycott the contest, and Eurovision was on the brink of becoming irrelevant. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a like so more people see it in their recommendations, and please subscribe if you don't want to miss my video on the 1970 edition. See you then, and bye bye. I'm continuing. Mamans were apparently enchanted, and Monaco came 6th.